Hello SRP.
Hello.
Do you fancy a whiskey before we start?
If it's on the house, yes please.
Yes, alright.
Is this to help me part with my money?
It might help.
Thank you.
So if I hand that over to you.
Thank you. Oh yes.
Right, so today I'm going to be measuring you up for multifocal lenses. I'll be doing some for varifocals, some measurements for varifocals, some measurements for bifocals, but I'm going to do a lot of head measurements as well using the Reese's-Fairbanks rule. So my first measurement, I'm going to measure your head circumference.
Good.
And I'll measure it in millimetres, as most optical measurements are done in millimetres. So and I don't do it tight, I've just got it to my finger inside, so that's 56 centimetres or 560 millimetres. So whilst we're doing head measurements, I'll get my Reese-Fairbanks rule and I'll start doing some measurements on your, basically for your head measurement. So I'll do your head measurement first. So I'll place this on top of your head with the metal bar facing down. As long as I've got that straight, this is going to be right. So your head measurement is 160 millimetres. Now for your temple width. So I'll keep the ruler set the same. I place this in front, just on the top of your nose. And that measurement is 150 millimetres. My next measurement is your apical radius, and I'm going to start on the biggest and work down until we find the right one. So obviously with this one you can see it's massive. So we move on to the 10. That's still got a lot of movement. The 9 has got a lot of movement. The 8, that's almost there. Does that feel comfortable?
Maybe a bit tight.
So that feels better. So 8 millimetres. Now I'm going to measure the drop for the frame. We do that both at 10 and at 15. That's better. So placing that on your nose. Bring it in. No wonder it's not working, I've got it the wrong way around. So I'll measure it at 15 to start with. And that's at 12. Now measuring it at 10. Now just let me know, keep blinking. Is that touching your eyelashes?
No.
One slipped off. Right. Let's try it from that direction because I think... Oh. Right. The next measurement I'm doing is your pupil distance measurements, and I'm going to do them both as a complete measurement, which is from pupil to pupil, but I'm also going to do them for your monopedies, which is the right pupil to your nose and your left pupil to your nose. So you can look at my finger and then across. That's 63. I'll just remeasure that again, this time to get the mono. So if you look at my finger again, it's 31 or 32. Now I'm going to do a near vision measurement.
Right.
For that, I'm just going to hold up an object, in this case a ruler. What I want you to do is just look at the ruler for me. I get that at 60. And again, I'll do them as mono reading. So again, if you're looking at the ruler, thank you. Now, with your prescription, you've got a sphere for the main part of your prescription, but you have got a sill as well. Now, if I show you that ball, you can see that's like a rugby ball shape. That is actually very similar to the shape of your eye at the back of the eye. So that's called an astigmatism. Well, if you'd got a complete sphere, we'd be looking at more like that for the shape of your eye.
So it's more curved in one meridian?
Yeah. So basically it's more of a rugby ball shape. It doesn't necessarily mean it's this way. It could be that angle or even that angle. But it just means that your eye isn't perfectly round. This is also good if you feel stressed.
Right.
It's a good stress ball.
Okay. Certainly not feeling stressed now.
Excellent. Now I'm going to try on the frame that you've chosen.
Okay.
And I see you've gone for a special material. This is made of nylon.
Right.
So it's a very flexible frame. So the characteristics, it's got a nice thick side, but it's very, very bendable. And of course it goes back to shape. And there's a lot of movement on the frame itself. Well, not quite. It'll burn if it catches fire. The problem with nylon is if it catches fire, it drips. and if it drips that will cause very, very severe burns.
I won't wear them to the bonfire party.
Right, so we're doing these with varifocals, but I'm also going to measure them with bifocals, because you did mention about having a bifocal at a later date in the same frame. So if I measure for both, I've got a nice gadget here that I'm going to put on the frame. So it hooks on the top and the bottom.
It's very technical.
It looks good, doesn't it?
Never seen one of those before.
I'm just going to get it somewhere nearer to where you'll need it. So if you put that on for me. And what I'm going to do now, I'll just get down on my knees. I want to look at
propose
these.
to me, are you?
Not quite. Right, so what I'm going to do now is just lower these heights to get them smack bang in front of the pupil. So if you just keep looking forward as naturally as possible. And now I've got that level with your pupils, that's exactly where the distance part of the lens will go. The rest of the lens will be gradually changing all the way down, so you've got the reading at the bottom.
Excellent.
So I'll take them off so that I can read it and write it down. So it's a very big frame. The heights for this are 29.
Is that about normal?
Well, it's a big frame. It's right for the frame. If we'd got a smaller frame, it would be a lot lower heights. So if you want to put them back on, because now I'm going to lower it even further. And what I'm actually going to do now, I'll get to the same height as I was before, which is at your eye level. I'm going to now lower it to your lower canthus or your bottom lid. Right, like that. Thank you.
And that's for the bifocal.
Yeah, so we do that because your bifocal has a little segment, and the segment is level with your bottom lid, and so yeah, that's for the bifocal, and it's measured so it's the top of the bifocal segment is level with your bottom lid, and then you'll look down to look into the reading part.
Okay.
So the height for this is quite a lot lower.
And how do you decide which bifocal segment you're going to use?
When it comes to it, I shall ask you, but the most popular one is called a D segment. If it was in glass, although it's the same segment, it would be called an S segment. That's how we differentiate between the two. So for measuring, for the bifocal, the D segment is because it's a flat top on it, and it means that as you look down, it's obvious where the join is, where the reading segment starts. If we did a round segment, that would be okay still, but you may struggle with that.
So you'd advise a D segment?
Well, for you, I would advise a D segment. I wouldn't go with an S segment. The glass lens would be very, very heavy, and especially in this size frame. Right, so I've written them down. Now let's have a look at, these are them fun glasses that you've picked out. This is for your Mexican night. And if you explain to me when you've put these on, what the vision is like in them.
Well, everything seems a little bit more enhanced.
Yeah.
In terms of, I mean, there's a yellow hue.
Yeah, and actually a yellow lens for driving is quite good. This one might be just a little bit too dark to drive at night, but there'd be no harm in wearing this to enhance things and take away glare when in the daytime.
You don't think I look like a fool?
Well, it's for fancy dress, isn't it? We want to look like a fool for fancy
No, but
dress.
if I'm driving, wearing...
Well, how many people look at you while you're driving? What do you think? They
I
feel
like the
comfortable,
announcement,
don't they?
I'd have to try them on the road. But
Yeah.
they're comfortable.
But it's not really for the road, it's just that with that particular lens, because the vision is so clear as well. And now, let's see your Elton John effect. Could pluck a few strings with that one.
Hit a few keys as well.
Yeah. What do you think of them? They're effective, aren't they, as a sunglass?
Yeah, they're very dark.
And of course, as a rock star, you don't want your eyes seen.
No.
So, and they're comfortable as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
Which is unusual for a fancy dress pair.
Yeah.
So you could be Elton John. You could even be Elvis.
Yeah. I mean, if we're indoors and it's at night, a little bit dark, but you know, I can see. But it's just a bit.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to be in a nightclub when the lights are all
no.
dimmed.
No. Probably get beat up.
You wouldn't, because you'd be at a fancy dress party.
I'll have to wear them to reflex then.
Right, so the next thing, I'm going to show you some of the special characteristics of this frame. So the first thing I'm going to do is just pop these lenses out. This frame is so flexible, you could even tie it up in a knot. I wouldn't recommend doing this, but it's just showing you what you can do.
I like to tie my glasses in knots.
How's that for you?
Do I have to put them on?
I have a feeling you wouldn't get them on. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
But then, when you want to put them back,
Lifetime. I can always have new lenses put in the frame.
yeah,
I'm going to last this long.
yeah, and you can see that's gone straight back into shape. I might not be so lucky getting the lenses back in quickly.
And this is going to be for varifocals, isn't it?
Yeah. Just missed the notch at the back. Yeah, that's one lens back in place. But remembering, your lenses won't go in and out as easily as this. These are not ophthalmic lenses, they're just demonstration.
How long will it take for them to come back?
For your varifocals, about 10 days.
Okay.
Alright,
Yeah.
you happy with that?
Yeah, very happy, thank you.